Deepak Chatterjee, SBI Mutual Fund. Harsha Vijay, Sundaram Mutual Fund. Nand Kumar Surti, JP. Nimesh Shah, ICICI Prudential. Sandesh Kirkire, Kotak. And Vivek Law, the moderator.
Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is again another very eminent panel. Earlier in the morning, we talked to fund managers, the CIOs. Now we have the CEOs. I must admit, this panel is not only having extremely eminent people, but extremely brave people as well. There's a bloodbath going on out there, but all of them are smiling. They all greeted in the most affectionate way possible, as they always do for many, many years. So I'm going to try and spend the next half an hour trying to find out from them. I'm going to get slightly provocative, first of all, and the first question to all of them is going to be, is the industry in the midst of a crisis? I know I'm using a very strong word, and I'm sure they'll all come out all guns blazing and tell me, no, it's not. But the fact of the matter is, here's an industry which has seen thousands and thousands of crores of redemptions. There were some points which were made earlier in the sessions from some of you about the manner in which products were still being sold. So there are a lot of concerns out there. It isn't certainly a very pretty time for this industry, but we're going to try and find out first, where is the industry right now? How is it grappling with it? And then perhaps towards the second half of the discussion, look at the solutions and what needs to be done. So my first question to each of the panelists. Sandesh, let me start with you. How deep is the crisis?
See, I think we have been, when you look at the overall size of the industry, it's around 10 to 12% of the total bank deposits of the country for the last 5-7 years. That has not changed. Bank deposits have grown, industry in that sense has grown. And the total bank deposits, as also the total assets of the industry, has mix of both institutional money as well as the retail money. What perhaps you were referring to has been the recent, for the last 1 to 2 years, the continuous redemption that the industry has been facing on the equity side of the business, which today comprises of about 25% of the total assets of the industry. Now, issue has been ultimately we as an industry are really passed through as far as the underlying markets are concerned. If you go through the recent, in fact, AMFI had put in had requested CRISIL to create an index for the performance, which indicates the performance of the industry. You would be surprised, and unfortunately that's the issue today, that as fund managers we believe that we have delivered, but the investor on the other side believes not, because investor is looking at a different time frame and the fund managers are looking at different time frame at one point, and two, the investor is unable to understand the basic concept of an alpha. If you look at a long period, industry has produced one of the finest or the best alpha that one can see in any other part of the world, when you look at pure mutual fund as an industry. Fact is, this goes through these basics of lack of equity culture. Look at the entire secondary market, non-institutional secondary market segment of India. For every 100 rupees that trades there, 90 rupees is derivatives, 10 rupees is cash, and perhaps less than 2 rupees is delivery. So the issue is equity market being long term, and which goes with the culture, continues to defy us, in the sense just not getting there. Investor is just not willing to look at a real long term. And you also know that most of the investors do not have retirement savings which are going directly, which are really the long term money, into the equity markets. That is what really perhaps, when you look at from an industry perspective, that's what really ails the industry.
Would you call that the biggest failure of the mutual fund industry?
I wouldn't call it a failure, because as I said, that overall you have to realize that there are different tax structures available. Neither is there a product which is led by a pool, as what is seen in any of the developed markets. You look at the entire build-up of equity mutual funds globally, it has everything to do with the kind of tax benefit or tax incentives that have been provided over for a long-term money for the investor, which has never happened in India, unfortunately, because there is no lock-in. Unfortunately, while overall underlying asset level tax structure is perhaps...
Who is to blame for that?
See, issue is ultimately the tax regime has to realize that you need to have long-term money into the equity markets. Look at if you do further analysis of the total exits which happened from the redemptions which we are seeing, typically the money has stayed 3 to 4 years. That's not an adequate time where investor can really look at money. Today, the large redemptions which we have seen is investors believe that this 20,000 was last seen 5 years back. Now this is the great time to exit because market has peaked. Now we are trying to communicate to him that look, this 20,000 is 40% cheaper than that 20,000. But he is not willing to understand it, he doesn't understand it, which is where the issue of financial literacy also happens. So the combination of lack of financial literacy, lack of long-term tax regime, and the long-term lack of locked in is what is really not seen a large money into equity markets. Look, let's face it, equity markets have been in existence for over a century. Mutual funds are there for the last 20 years. Today, you have more investors in the equity markets through mutual funds than direct investors. So, which is really, it has everything to do with the broad equity culture, lack of culture, and which can be actually pushed through only through a long-term tax regime.
Nimesh, your thoughts?
I thought it is one of the best times possible because the product is a very beautiful product. I'm going by the product. I feel mutual fund
It's a
industry is
beautiful
in a best.
product, but nobody wants to put money into it.
No, but we are positioned very well. It has got nothing to do with that. It's a beautiful product which is very transparent, good for the customer. I think any industry will benefit over a period of time if the product is pure and the business is done in a very pure way. So I am not concerned in by any basis as to what is, because the product is good. And as he said, when the time comes, we are a derivative product. Let the main product do well. Let the country do well. Once the country does well, equity markets will do well, and then people will come into the equity markets. So I'm in no hurry. Debt markets, it has done. We have been able to attract money into debt in the last 2 years. So I think whether it is equity, whether it is debt, and if you say the asset management industry, whether it is real estate, the businesses are regulated very well. The product is very good. And if you see the way, I think profitability wise also, it's a very healthy industry. Profitability of the AMC is also growing. So customer is also making money if he is invested with the right products. And the beautiful thing about the product is that if you are managing money well, you will get money. So that has become very clear. You can't do huge NFOs and get money, etc., etc. Those days are over. So you have to do a plain, if your performance is there, you will get money. So any AMC which has done well and his equity performance is good is getting equity money.
So you're not too concerned about these thousands of crores of redemptions?
If you see, it is not growing. I don't think it is going down. If you are managing money properly, you are getting money.
But how do you explain that? I was saying that in the morning as well, that you have foreigners who are coming in and buying money. After all, they're also raising it from retail investors back in their countries.
In
You
fact,
have people here who are selling and don't want to buy the
in
product.
fact,
Where's
as,
the disconnect?
As he said, the pension funds from Canada and the pension funds from US are buying Indian equities, but our pension funds are not able to buy our equities. So either one of the two will happen, and it's a question of time before. The government needs capital formation to happen in this country. Our finance minister should not be traveling outside the country when he needs capital. So if government needs capital formation to happen in the country, one of the two has to come. Either the pension money has to come into this industry, or tax benefits have to come. So one of these two will ensure that capital market formation happens within the country rather than outside. And the government, I think it's a national requirement. It is not a mutual fund industry requirement. I think the nation requires it at some point of time. When the finance ministry can afford to give that benefit, this benefit will come.
So you're not still willing to say that we are in a crisis situation from the point of view that this is a market which is very fast becoming totally exported. The individual investor is not there. Mutual funds are grappling with heavy redemptions. It's a largely FII driven market. Is that not reason enough to be concerned about as an industry?
I am saying for the industry, whether the FIIs are coming or not, but for the mutual fund industry,
I'm talking about the role of the mutual fund industry in India's capital markets.
I am talking
Isn't
about
that
the
diminishing
asset
dramatically?
management industry in India, which includes mutual fund. So when the foreigners are coming into the country, the asset management industry in this country is growing, right? Where you are managing money of the retail investors within the country, and also you are managing money which is coming from outside. So asset management, I am again restating that asset management industry in this country is growing. Mutual fund, the number of investors and the number of folios might be going down, but overall, if you are managing money well, you are getting the money in, and over a period of time, because the product is good, whenever the country does well and whenever the equity markets do well, you will get the money back.
Okay. Bala, you have a
Yeah, I think you
different view?
took the word as crisis. So I see the mutual fund industry has managed the crisis quite well. So let me put it in a different perspective. Since the 2008 crisis, which you talked about, the global crisis, the Indian mutual fund industries, the way they managed the expectation of investors, the way they handled actually the entire distribution community in terms of handling the customer queries were far, far superior. And that's why I think the proof of the efficiency of the mutual fund was tested in 2008 crisis. Once again, the mutual fund industry was put to test within the recent memory of 2013, the July, 15th of July, where the entire industry was going through a similar kind of expectation that could come and hit the industry, which is like, such as Lehman Brothers repeat. There was a bit of concerns, not just only for the mutual fund industry, entire financial service industries had a similar kind of concern. But again, it was managed very well, thanks to, of course, the regulatory support as well as the RBI. Just simple comfort was actually giving a big comfort actually to the investors to stay with a lot of faith in the mutual fund industries. I think the redemption is always a function of the economy. Redemption is a function of economy, and the subscription is also the function of the economy. If something is actually does well, definitely actually the more number of investors go actually into that asset class, which is doing well with respect to meeting their expectations. If you look at the last 5 years, I think all of us may talk about the equity asset market, but the last 5 years, the equity asset market has remained somewhat flat. We are talking, actually we are celebrating today, the index has touched 21,000 new high, is exactly the same index which was there about 5 years back. But if again we look at the last 1 year, last 1 year or 2 years if you look at, the equity market has shown remarkable resilience to some of the crises that we are actually currently, we are talking about. More than the crisis, so actually we are talking about a downtrend in the economy, the equity market is doing far, far superior, because there is always an expectation which is getting built up. So at the end of the day, if you look at it from the mutual industry's point of view, the redemption happening is also on the fact of the people are making money. Then the people who are redeeming are not somebody actually who's booking the loss. We always used
You
to...
don't believe there are people who are fed up?
No, it's not the question of fed up. It's the question of, I would assume that I have waited for 4 years, 5 years, now
And
money
I got
is...
nothing, so I might as
No,
well go.
no, some people are making money also. Let me give you a simple example. You talk to any of the guys, any of the portfolio managers. The simple fact, if my NAV is 8, this is what I have seen historically in the last 20 years of my experience. If NAV is 8, the NAV comes back to 10, is always believe my money has come back, let me redeem. So that's actually the first sign of readjusting the portfolios. The same NAV goes towards 12, so you believe that it has now given over 20% return, let me come back. So that's actually the function of the economy, the function of the trend that is being foreseen. It's also the function of the sentiment that prevails at every point of time. So redemption is not, definitely of course is a concern for money managers, is a concern actually for the mutual fund, for them actually the time when we are making a fight that we should grow the size. The same time money is not growing, definitely is a concern. But the question is, the people who are going out, are they really unhappy investors? In my answer is actually is no. I think most of the people who are redeeming money from the mutual fund at this point of time are making money actually moving out. It's all a question of coming back. So that is one change in the whole, the trend with respect to the uptick in the economy. We'll probably see actually the huge change that could come in attracting the retail flows into the country. We have seen historically that when the sentiment improves, money does come actually in the equity as an asset class. The second, I think we need to also look at it from the point of view how the crisis is being managed. So I think instead of using the word as a crisis, how the challenging environment at all point of time is being managed and handled by the mutual fund industry. And today, if you look at it, the efforts that is being put in is far superior than maybe what all of us would have put actually an effort in the last many years in terms of creating an awareness, in terms of creating the importance, creating in the minds of people, the importance of investing in mutual funds. And third, some of the regulatory supports is also far, far higher than what you have seen in the last many years. So I think that's why I think the entire thing has to be looked at in the sense
You're saying you've started lobbying better.
Exactly. It's also in some sense which we can say, and the lobbying also has to be heard from somebody. So if the lobbying is if it is only one-sided, if it is not heard by somebody, it's of no use. But today if you look at it, I think the industry is working together with respect to bringing in the right change in the regulation, what Sandesh spoke about, that there is some kind of tax incentive which need to be given. But I think the efforts are being put in terms of ensuring that we are able to actually attract long-term money for the benefit of long-term growth of the industry.
Did this Rajiv Gandhi equity scheme turn out to be a dud according to you?
No, I think it's again, it's a function of the effort. I think it's one, you foresee something, yes, this is a
You're
scheme
saying
which
you all
is-
didn't put effort into it, or
No.
do you feel that the product
It
itself
again, it has to be looked at, Vivek, from two angles. We feel that, yes, this is a product which is best suited for the investors, which is the government will give actually some additional tax incentive for saving us at a time where the government itself has got a huge doubt on the revenue targets, right? The revenue target on one side is a concern. At the same time, they are also actually looking at giving additional benefit for the savers to channelize their savings actually in the equity market. At the same time, as the journey begins, you also actually realize some of the condition which has been put as the preconditions, they may not be actually really worthwhile for somebody going and making an attempt. So this is actually the function
in
of...
short, it turned out to be a dud.
No, it turned out to be, in some sense, not as successful as it was supposed to be.
You're being polite. Okay. I understand. You can't criticize the government. Okay. Let me come to you, Nandakumar, on the same issues which I've raised with the rest of the panel.
Well, I don't see as crisis.
At least Bala agreed that it's challenging and not crisis.
No, it's
What
not
do you
challenging, and in lighter note, probably I'm the youngest member on the panel in terms of being a CEO. So, where we come from, right, I'll probably look at gross sales, so there is an opportunity in every crisis. And crisis, yes, some of the panelists have touched this earlier. You require 2 points to be there. One, the economy has to be doing reasonably well on a sustained basis to give that positive experience to the investors, right? And then the second part of it is, I would base that on 3 pillars. One is performance. Being an ex-fund manager, I live or die by my performance, right? So if the investor is having a good experience so far as the performance is concerned, then he's definitely going to be, investing with you. Crisis or no crisis, there is still an opportunity, because every crisis will have something or the other which is, going to be result oriented or helping to meet the goals of the investors. So if that is, being achieved through performance, then, investors are going to stick around. But then performance can occasionally go away. The second pillar then comes is the product. Okay, if you design the right kind of products which are simple to understand, help to meet the financial goals of the investors, you can definitely expand the market share. And the third and the most important pillar is market insights. And by that I mean the quality of advice which goes from the advisors to the investors in terms of helping them to achieve their financial goals, kind of. So it's, if you combine all three.
So on these 3 pillars, where would you rate the current situation? Would you give them 4 out of 10 on all these 3? Sandesh said that by and large, performance-wise, the industry has performed very well. But if you are saying these are the 3 pillars, what out of 10 would you give to this?
So, okay, performance so far as equity products are concerned was a bit challenging, let's be honest, till about a year back. But that's the beauty of equity markets. 3 years of non-performance means it happens with every asset class, right? The 4th or the 5th year will give you so much of returns that it typically covers your 3-year or 4-year or 5-year performance, and data does show. I'm sure everybody sitting in this room, if they've seen their experience with a 3-year or a 5-year SIP, those which were sitting at 7, 8, 9% returns are suddenly looking at 11 or 12% return just on the back of the last 3 months of equity market performance, kind of. So performance was a bit of a challenge, but as I said, with equity, it can make a very strong comeback, kind of. Products, all of us are doing our bit in terms of coming with the right kind of products. The industry has evolved. It's a 20-year-old industry. There are a few new products that have come in, like international investing is certainly a theme which was not appreciated by the investors, but suddenly over the course of last 3 years, investors have seen that not necessarily that the same market outperforms every year. So you need to look at markets beyond India, right? So you have new products coming in that. There were simple FMP products which were positioned against tax-free products, right? And those did exceedingly well. So you're doing your bit on the product front, and it's a continuing exercise.
Don't you feel somewhere it's like flavor of the season? One person launches FMP, the whole industry comes running behind, launches FMP.
No, but
now suddenly we are seeing close-ended schemes. One launches, 4 have I think already announced,
There's
another
no
10 will
harm in that.
announce.
If you do 100 and if you can scale it up to 300 or 500, why not? Why can't you copy a good idea? It's as simple as that. So I wouldn't be ashamed of copying a good idea. If somebody has taken the
The
leadership.
point is not
and
about copying. I was saying, isn't that more like a herd mentality? And then, suddenly you will have these NFOs, people will put money, then they'll.
No, so
the
you'll
whole
have to
flavor
differentiate.
changes.
You'll have to differentiate a bit, where commercial sense or the product idea itself, kind of. So we're talking about 2 things. You're talking about the commercial side of it. I'm talking about the product idea side of it. So I would copy the product idea. Whether I copy or the commercial side of it is not, again, a business decision, kind of. Sure. And the third pillar, of course, market insights. We are doing our bit. The regulator has set aside, 2 basis points for investor education. It's still early, but there is rapid progress that's being made in that direction, and I'm sure all of us, are going to be. We run a very big program.
These heavy redemptions don't bother you?
Not at all.
You sleep well at night?
Of course, so that comes from the perspective where JP Morgan is standing at this point of time, because, as I said, I'm the youngest even in terms of AUM on this panel, and every redemption which the market faces, it opens up an opportunity for me. And as a fund manager, as I said, I've seen enough crises and there's an opportunity in every crisis that's happening over there, kind of. So I'm not really worried about the crisis. Every crisis, if you can design the right product and reach out to the investors, you can definitely grow.
Okay, Harsha, come in on this.
Sure. I think a lot has been said, so I will try and take a different tact. Let's get some perspective and context, right? This is a business cycle. We're going through a tough business cycle, but we've all seen enough of those, right? Whether it's in the AMC industry or outside before we came here to see. The people we are competing against are the banks. If I look at a 5-year plan for me, and I'm sure all the gentlemen here, the competitive set is banks. They have a 100-year head start and an implicit sovereign guarantee. That's what you're going up against, right? So if you look at the equity redemptions, historically equity redemptions in our industry have been 1.5% to 2% of assets every month. Now they're somewhere between 2.5% and 3%. It's terrible, right? But is it a crisis? When you talk about these numbers, you just flip it around and say at a 1.5% redemption rate, the average investor is holding for 3 years, which is good. With the increased redemption rate now, an extra 1% is redeeming, and so has come down to 2 years. Not a crisis, it's terrible. We have to face that, we have to acknowledge it. But it's hardly a crisis. So when you're talking about how do you make mutual funds more relevant, right? There is no burning platform, right? We have to sit tight, get through a few years. The vast majority of investors are with us. If really 2008 to now was so terrible, we won't be sitting here, we'd be dead, right? When you talk about the redemption rate, look at the investors who have kept faith, right? Sometimes in some of the worst performing funds. And they have faith, right? So I don't see a crisis from where I'm sitting, right? Which doesn't mean we don't have our work cut out for us, but it is a work to deal with the bottom of a business cycle. That's all.
Isn't the bigger problem about the fact that I was raising also with the other panelists that you are in a situation where the individual investor, so to speak, is fast moving out, the Indian individual investor is fast moving out of equity markets. Isn't that a more
when you say
medium to longer term problem for you?
No, I think that's true, but you're absolutely right. But when you say moving out, I just explained to you, it's not fast. They are going faster than they were in the past. But I mean, ultimately, the things that will reinvigorate our industry are a secular bull market, which will be a far healthier bull market than before because people now come on board knowing that NAV can go down, right? And as was mentioned before in terms of tax breaks, right? That is something that we need to push. RGSS, we're saying, you made the comment that it was a dud, but the fact is, more importantly to me, that indicates a direction that the government understands that we need tax breaks. They might have got the formula wrong. It's not that money has not been raised. They might have got the formula wrong. But it is a clear declaration of intent. And so hopefully if you're able to lobby better and get it right, as was said.
But if you don't agree it was a dud, how do you expect the government to accept it was dud?
No, I don't. You said dud. I didn't. And
Bala didn't agree.
Right? And I think quite simply the fact is that tax schemes sometimes work, sometimes don't. Right? It's clear that this tax scheme hasn't got anywhere near as much as we all hoped
exactly.
it would.
That's exactly the point I'm making.
But,
there was a lot of hope around it that this was the first time.
But that's
the
fine,
government...
right? Again, we are not playing a 4-quarter game and saying, will we pull back next quarter? I think it's quite simple that if the government now has the intent that tax breaks are needed for the mutual fund industry, it will come about in one way or another, right? And I think it's too harsh to overreact to one particular scheme.
And do you believe that now the ball, in fact, Deepak, I want you to come into this as well, that what I hear multiple panelists say before you is that tax incentives are becoming more and more important. One is, of course, investor education, where the general feeling seems to be that a lot of work has happened, and we could agree with that. But it's all coming back to saying, can we get more tax incentives?
Let me start, can you hear me? Let me start by saying, Vivek, that we met at the CII summit this summer. It was a similar setting, you were the moderator, the topic was identical. Is the industry in crisis? We are discussing very much the same today. In between, I've been into a few other panels as well, and leave aside a few words here and there, we are discussing the same thing. So what has happened is, we CEOs have learned two things. One is we have learned to put on a smile, which you noticed some time back. And also, I think we have learned to pull out different answers to the same questions that we have been grappling for the last 3-4 years. Okay? And I think we are hiding behind semantics. We are not coming to the basics at all. Why are we calling it a crisis now? You think when during 2005, 6, 7, when industry was growing hugely, you think it was a very good industry? You think investors were coming in with a great degree of conviction to be long-term investors, to inculcate an idea of investing and building wealth for the long term? No. They were running out of short-term money. They were propelled by greed. And we manufacturers were placing NFOs after NFOs because that was a quick shortcut. And then there was also a payment system of paying the intermediaries, which the AMCs could well do. But for that change, everything else remains the same. So why are we calling it a crisis now? The problem is that the Indian psyche, in the Indian DNA, investment is not there. We understand coupon very well. We understand it so well that you will even go for a Ponzi scheme which says 22% return. Right? But talk about investment, long-term wealth creation and all that, nobody understands that. If ever a person wants to get out of this coupon, he'll get into risky things, gambling and all that, it could be real estate, whatever. It's not easy to change this mindset, right? We can do investor education. We should definitely do investor education. We can do it for 50 years, 100 years, maybe there'll be some incremental benefit to the industry. What is very crucial is to somehow get investors to put their money for the long term. How many people check when their provident fund is deducted that what is happening to that provident fund money? How many people check that? But we have this disease of checking the NAV every day. So if we can get people, and for that we need the tax breaks, we need the enablers to get in pension kind of long term. A few things the Indian population understands very well: building wealth for the long term, for the future, for marriage, for daughter's son's marriage, for education, those things go very well. But we need the enablers for that. We need the tax breaks. People have to understand. You know what, Vivek, I had mentioned in the last CII summit, and I stand by that figure. I had mentioned that this industry AUM could well be 2 lakh crores. But do you think we'll have happy investors? I'm not very certain. We could still have investors who have run in thinking it's a great shortcut to wealth. Industry AUM will be 2 lakh crores. Once that we cross that hump, we'll be very much like this, discussing again like this, folios coming down.
So are you saying there is a great risk of the industry actually becoming irrelevant?
Not irrelevant. We'll celebrate. When it is 2 lakh crores, we'll celebrate. But the poor investor won't be happy still. We'll celebrate. We'll give a pat on our back. Great. We were at, sorry, I'm sorry, not 2 lakh, 20 lakh crores. We were at 7 lakh crores, and now we are reached 20 lakh crores. Great. We have done a great job. But how that has happened, on the back of what, whether the investor mindset has really changed, whether they have understood this product. There is no basic need for this product. That's the biggest problem. There is need for banking product. A person, my driver, is illiterate, but he'll do whatever to get a bank account.
So then why are 40 of you existing? If there is no need for the product.
There is, we are, frankly, if you ask me,
I doubt Prem will be able to organize the 4th Cafe Mutual Summit.
Let me answer that question. You take institutional money out of this industry and see where the AUM is.
That's exactly.
Let us face it. We are hiding behind the smoke.
Let me get your colleagues in as well. Sandesh, Nimesh, do you share the same?
No, absolutely.
I wouldn't even say pessimism. He's very candid.
But I'm not painting a pessimistic picture. By the way,
I said candid. I didn't say pessimistic. Somebody from the audience said pessimistic.
20 lakh crores is going to happen. 20 lakh crores is going to happen. But after that, we'll very much be discussing the same thing.
Okay. Sandesh, come in.
No, I think the one point which he mentioned about, which I would like to comment upon, was on the institutional and retail mix. There's so much is written about the industry. See, I think my assessment is about 50% of the industry, could be 40 to 45%, could be institutional money. Now, this is really a CASA money. It can go to a bank, it is coming to us because we are pure pass-throughs. As Bala mentioned, in very recent times in July, when the fact that we really actually transmitted the losses because of interest rate rise, even in the liquid funds, we are now 100% pure pass-through. Nowhere in the world we have a pure pass-through example as what mutual fund, Indian mutual fund industry is. Now, this 50%, 45, 50% institutional money, are we really chasing it to the extent what is being made out is my objection. In the sense, you would not have less than, I think we would have less than 5% of our workforce who is really chasing that money.
That's because you've got tax incentives.
There is no tax incentive now. There is no tax incentive. Where is the tax incentive? It's a pure pass-through. Please understand. It's a pure pass-through now. The tax incentive at 28% plus kind of a whatever dividend tax rate, there's hardly any gap. The money will keep on coming to you purely because it's a pass-through. You'll keep on outperforming or bringing in. It's much easier. It's easier to come in and get out of a mutual fund. Institutional investors have liked it, and hence it's easier. It's a product actually that, if you ask me, amongst the entire mutual fund industry, that portion is the bought part of the industry. Everything else is a sold part. You have to sell it for getting the investor. So you don't have too large a workforce. The entire industry is actually trying to get money on the retail side. The issue is about financial literacy. Let's face it. A few years back we said 1 year is long term in the bullish market. Then we said 3 years is long term. Then we said 5 years is long term. Now the issue is...
Now you'll say 10 years.
Now we are saying 10 years. Now the issue is...
Because 5 years there were no returns.
The fact is...
The good products made returns in 5 years.
Correct, but I'm just saying ultimately we are alpha managers. The underlying market produces negative return. The alpha managers will produce an alpha on that negative return.
Sure.
That's where the gap is, whereby we believe as industry, if you look at the last 10 years or since inception, 96, I think the latest CRISIL data, if it's available on AMFI website, if one sees, actually from 1996, the industry has produced 6% alpha on Nifty. I'm just saying that it's not something which is easy after 200 basis point cost. So industry has done a wonderful job. The issue is investor is still not in the mindset of a short term. Which is seen even in the secondary market. And the fact is this market, I think that's where when I mentioned about the equity culture, about the financial literacy, and that's where it comes through. And I think as an industry, this 2 basis point which is being spent, if you look at various campaigns, one of the campaigns which we had, whereby if you had invested at the peak of the market every year over the last 15 years, so you were so stupid that every year you invested in the market crashed, but you did not come out of the market, you still made 11% return. Now, how do we communicate this? This is the basic gap in terms of understanding between what a retail investor thinks, his mindset about keeping it short term. Look at 2005. If anybody came with a basic of asset allocation of 50% into equities in 2005, I'm sure in 2008 it would have gone to 80-85%. But what was he doing in 2008? He was buying further equity. So these basic principles of asset allocation and the long-term nature, if you are able to communicate effectively, I'm sure this industry has a phenomenal future, because my belief is there is no other asset class which has produced this kind of wealth. As Nimish was saying that you have a retail investor from the rest of the world is participating in India's equity markets. It's unfortunate that the Indian equity investor is not able to, because he is not able to think that you have to look at 10 years. So that's the basic challenge for the industry. So when you use the word crisis, I don't think there's a crisis of any kind. Remember, this industry has been the lowest kind of having proven that it's a pass-through, it has least amount of capital which is invested. So from a business perspective, there's no crisis from an asset management perspective. But the issue is, as a nation, how do we get more investor to look at it that 10-year time frame? He has to look at. See, when you're buying an equity, you are becoming a part owner of a business. Does the business look at it from business manager, look at it from a 1 year and a 3 year horizon? He is not. But our equity mindset has been like that. You should be, the entire basic concept of time in the market being more critical than timing the market. We are still
this
trying to
Sandesh has
communicate.
been an issue for the last 2 decades, isn't it?
Which is
We've
true,
been
but
discussing this.
less than 2% of the total volume is for delivery. That's a fact in the equity markets. So the same culture is going to have a rub-off effect even in the mutual fund. So that's the reason we keep on saying that forget about standard. If the market was there for the last 5 years, look at the SIP. What kind of returns are there in SIP? But the issue is about these basics about long-term, looking at the market over long-term, looking at asset allocation is something which we are still struggling to communicate. Are we doing sufficient job? Certainly we are doing, but it's a very difficult job. Please appreciate that, investors have got used to having a pre-decided and administered interest rate regime over all these years, and making him change here is going to be a challenge. That's the reason a 401k kind of a scheme. When you say tax regime, tax changes, we are one of the best tax regimes for equity, more than 1 year, tax-free, 0% tax rate, not many parts of the world have it. But how do I make him lock in that? That is the challenge. And that's where in a 401k kind of a system, we should be able to provide any of our equity schemes. You come in with a 401k, and as long as you are with this, you don't have to pay tax. I mean, that kind of a thing is necessary for avoiding this issue about yours that 25-30% of the floating stock is owned by FIs. So something somewhere happens in the rest of the world does impact our equity market. That's where I think, we need government support also to bring in that long-term nature, because that is critical for Indian domestic capital market.
And don't you agree, Nimesh and Bala, that your regulator has stifled the industry? You're not even allowed to talk about legitimate benefits that, in terms of returns, that your industry has provided.
I agree. While I say that over the last 5 years regulation changes has made the product very good, there is an issue on how do I communicate. I desperately want to communicate my performance, but I'm not able to do that.
You're saying that's a good thing?
I'm not able. There are 10 good things that the regulator has done in the last 5 years. But I want a simple way of, I think the distributors have got a very difficult job, if you ask me. Because for me, it is very clear. I have produced alpha, I have done. We are relative return givers. So if market falls down 20% and my fund managers give me a minus 14% return, he'll get a fat bonus for that. Right? But how do you go and explain to my father-in-law? I have not been able to explain my father-in-law till date that how can you be doing well if the NAV has come down? So this whole communication is a huge issue, and I want to today we are talking to the regulators. At some point of time we'll come up with simple guidelines. I think one of the guidelines that needs to be addressed is the way I communicate my performance. My advertisement should only talk about my performance, because that is what sells in the market today. But I need a more effective way of communicating performance. We are talking to the regulators. I think in the next 6 months, 1 year, we'll find a way out. We have found a way out for a lot of other things in the last 3-4 years. We'll find a way out for this also.
Bala?
Yeah, I think it's not the question of communicating the return. Return is, of course, is something which you have delivered. I think Sandesh put it very nicely. There is a pass-through, which essentially means the investor who comes into the mutual fund product has to understand clearly there is a pass-through product, which essentially means that any return that is being generated will be linked to actually the market fluctuations. Clearly, I think that is understood. And the moment that we actually communicate in the form of a return that is being generated, hence I think you have to buy a mutual fund product. That will actually be a wrong way of actually luring the investors actually in the mutual fund industry. At the end of the day, the mutual fund industry has created such a beautiful platform, which I talked about the beautiful platform, which is nothing but a different kind of a product to suit different needs of the customers. So there is a product such as a beautiful product like liquid fund. It's such a beautiful product, has delivered a very consistent return for throughout all these years, despite going through actually an ups and downs in the overnight money market rates. That is still delivered better return. The same way, equity as an asset class, we may of course keep extending the logic of what is the definition for long term, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years. The very fact of the matter is, on a 10-year scales, SIP kind of investment, even on a 5-year scale, SIP kind of investments has given actually the return, which is far superior actually to direct investment what they would have made in the equity. At the end of the day, every investor has to understand the mutual fund product is a product which is actually a product which is meant for asset allocations. As long as that understanding I think is very clear in the minds of people, then I don't need to actually communicate the return of the scheme actually is so much high, hence they should come in. The return of the scheme is so much low, hence you have to redeem. So any investment that is made is being made for some purpose. But that's why I think the recent effort that is going actually behind the investing, rather educating the investors is I think far superior. Second, you talked about the advertisement code. I think we need to look at everything actually how it gets evolved. I think earlier we used to crib actually that in the advertisement, 60% of the advertisement used to be dedicated only for giving the risk factors. And I think the regulator was fair enough to understand the importance of talking more about the schemes, more about the fund house, more about the concept, Hence, I think the entire disclaimer or maybe the risk factors was reduced to just about 2 lines. That's again evolution. So I would only assume that some of them actually is getting evolved. And I think at the end of the day, I think as long as the mutual fund is considered as part of the asset allocation needs of the every consumer needs, then I think most of the issues will get resolved.
Okay, I'm going to take a couple of questions before I wind up. Any questions at the back? Okay, the gentleman here, if you could stand up, please, I'll get a mic across to you. Can a mic reach here, please? Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Ajay from Surat. I just have one question about we have expense ratios linked to AUM size. Can't we go to a next step where we can link it to the performance of the fund manager? This is a demand we have received from investors.
Okay.
This is feedback.
Harsha, you want to take that?
Sure. Before I do, I just have one interesting anecdote I should say, because you're talking about unhappy investors. We've started doing routine investor surveys now, right, just to understand where the base is, where they find. So we find that the investors on a scale of 1 to 5, is a very stable result, is about 3.5. They're not unhappy. They've sort of decided this is the way things are because the market is such. But then we also survey distributors. And distributor satisfaction is lower.
Zero.
Not zero, it's there, but below. The AMC sales force has a 0 in terms of their outlook. So it's hilarious, right? I think because the investors are actually the most understanding of what's going on, but when we filter through finally to the AMC, we talk about crisis. So on the point you raised on having TER linked to performance, that's a pricing issue, right? If the AMCs feel that's the case and there's enough pressure from the distribution committee, there's no reason that can't be done now, right? But the fact is that we are also here to make money. You're all here to make money. And so far, there hasn't been enough of a push. I've heard investors say that to my face as well. But there's not enough of a strong push that would push us there economically.
Okay, fair point. Any other question? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much for all the delegates. And sir, this is question related to you directly.
To me?
Yeah.
That's not allowed.
In the morning, you had told that no one has blamed media. So media has done a wonderful job, especially CNBC TV, Awaaz, and NDTV Profit, and Jeep Business, and
why
all
don't you
those
name my channel also?
I really thankful to you because a lot of people watch channels and ask for term plans and financial planning and everything. That's very good job done by media. But one point I would like to point out is that when NSCL got bust, we came to know that it was not regulated entity. I have seen on media channels people coming and recommending NSCL this thing, E-series. So wasn't that a fault of media which could not recognize and air the program and people got caught in that? Thank you so much.
I totally agree with you. It was a terrible mistake on the part of the media as well, if it did not correct and check itself. It should have.
Yes. So at least you would, as a...
But having said that, I must say that you didn't see that on our channel.
Thank you so much.
Because we didn't cover it, yeah. Yes, go ahead, the gentleman right at the back. Yes, please. Get a mic across to him, please.
आपको एक क्वेश्चन है कि ये जो इंडस्ट्री में जैसे रिटेल इन्वेस्टर चले गए उसका मेन रीजन ड्यू टू हार्श regulations imposed by SEBI, that is the main reason. उसके ये रीजन से काफी इंडिविजुअल IFAs एंड रिटेल इन्वेस्टर चले गए हैं. What is your opinion?
Yeah, okay, Deepak, take.
Can you hear me? See, there are a few other issues. I mean, I know where you are coming at, exactly the payout that was being made to the regulators. I recall, earlier this year I was heading the ICC summit in Calcutta, and while a very similar discussion was going on whether the industry is in crisis, one slip came to me. This is not that slip, by the way. One slip came to me saying that, why don't we do something like the Pulse Polio campaign? It was so successful, right? Pulse Polio. And imagine the amount of awareness created for the entire nation. And I had a question. You remember who was the personality behind that Pulse Polio campaign? That was Amitabh Bachchan. We can't use that personality. So, I mean, when you talk about regulatory issues, there are so many linked issues, I think we understand, we all understand we are responsibility players in the market, that regulatory controls are necessary. This can be risky business if people get into it without understanding. But I think the word risk has been overemphasized. Right? And what is wrong in using a celebrity? Life insurance does it all the time. Right? So,
absolutely.
To answer to your question, this is one of the things. And by the way, just to, Vivek, just to elaborate on that point further, I think many of us are, pushing for tax breaks for the long term and all that. But that by itself will not create the need for this product. That will help the industry grow. The need will remain where it is. The need growth is something else. And here, I think communication again comes there. For instance, like you said, communication is difficult. Let's say for a passively invested debt product, why can't we declare a target rate? What is wrong in that? It happens in foreign jurisdictions, and there is no rocket science involved, You can give a range. This is the target range. That will give some clarity to investors. That will be a big step. Today is everything risk. Nothing is clear. Market is very risky. Read scheme document, everything. So,
Sanjay, something more.
Okay, all right. Sorry, sir, I've run out of time. I have been told by Gautam that I have no more time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the panel, for coming by and sharing your thoughts. And thank you very much, audience.
Panel to just wait for 1 minute while I call Anita to give them the gifts. But I just had one question, Mr. Chatterjee. You mentioned that why can't we give a range? Because that would involve capital adequacy, and that would change the texture of your industry itself. If you are going to say that you're going to get 9%, you would probably want to back it up, or the regulator might want you to back it up with some capital.
Okay, I've messed up with, no, it's fine, it's working. Okay. To answer your question, the moment we try to declare an assured return, then you get into capital adequacy, right? Whereas you indicate a target, you're not promising anything. But just indicating a target helps people, they understand what they're in for.
So what happens if you say you'll give me 10 and you give me 7? There is nothing happens to you.
If you start penalizing that you said 8 to 8.5 and the return is, let's say, 7.5, I think you should leave it to the marketplace to decide whether to invest again in the same fund house instead of trying to bring in penalty. I think market is the best decider of things. If I sell a product which is not good enough, the market will punish me, right?
Thank you, sir. May I call Anita?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. And when Prem started out the event in the morning, he mentioned in his welcome address that the objective of this event really was to facilitate learning, networking, and getting inspired. And I must say that having the full house even at the end of the panel, I can definitely say we attend that objective. And I need to thank all our speakers, all our moderators for doing such a fab job. Thank you, Gautam. I can't see you anywhere, but thanks to you, we are on schedule. Thank you all our partners, DSP BlackRock, for coming on board once again as a title sponsor. Thank you, Sundaram. It's great to have you all on board as a platinum sponsor. Thank you all our partners, gold sponsors, silver sponsors. Thank you so much. You all have been a great audience. Good evening and goodbye. Thanks.